Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about different types of sampling techniques. Well, in our previous video, we have already discussed sample and population, and I have also put the link in the description box. But to give you a brief, sampling is a technique of selecting subset from larger population so as to make estimates or inferences about characteristics of the population. So a question arises, why do we have different types of sampling techniques? Well, in my opinion, since each of these techniques has its own importance, own utility, so a researcher might select one of these depending upon the need and the objective of the research. So let's begin our discussion around different types of sampling technique. So there are many two broad categories, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Well, in probability sampling, a sample is chosen randomly but with a few set criteria such that each of the observation has equal chance of being included in the sample. And in non-probability sampling, uh, in this also the sample is chosen randomly but there is no set criteria, and also each of the observation does not have equal chance of being included in the sample. So first we are going to discuss some probability sampling techniques. The first technique is simple random sampling. Well, in simple random sampling, each of the observation has equal chance of being included in the sample, and each of the observation is selected randomly. There is no fixed order. For example, in a lottery, a number is chosen randomly so as to announce the winner. Our next technique is stratified sampling technique. In this technique, population is divided into non-overlapping heterogeneous groups, and each of these groups are different from each other on basis of certain characteristics or traits. And then we randomly choose some observation from each of these groups. For example, to understand the spending behavior, we have formed certain groups of individuals earning less than 50,000, 50 to 100,000, and greater than 100,000. So these groups are non-overlapping, and from these groups, certain observations will be randomly chosen, which will be included in our sample. So our next technique is cluster sampling. In this technique, the population is divided into sections, and each of these sections represent a sample point, which can be randomly chosen so as to be included in the sample. So let's say, for example, we have this circle which represents population, and we have divided this circle into four sections A, B, C, D. Now, any of this section can be a part of sample, and it will be chosen randomly. Now, the four techniques that we just discussed, that is simple random sampling, cluster sampling, and stratified sampling, all these are a part of probability sampling. Now we are going to discuss two techniques which are a part of which are non-probability sampling. So our first technique is convenience sampling. In this, a sample is chosen as per the researcher's convenience. The sample may or may not be the true representative of population. It may be biased or unbiased. For example, if I am in a college and I am conducting a survey, then there is a very good chance that I am going to ask questions to students of that college only. Or maybe I'll go to the neighboring colleges as well. But I'll not go very far for conducting surveys. So I'm conducting that survey as per my convenience. So this is an example of convenience sampling. Our second and the last technique is judgmental or purposive sampling technique. It is based on the researcher's knowledge. So an advantage would be the expertise of the researcher, and a disadvantage would be that it might lead to some sort of bias. For example, a manager decides whether an employee should get a promotion or not. So this concludes our discussion. I hope that you are able to understand all of these techniques. If you have any doubt, you can ask them in the comment box. In our next video, we are going to talk about central tendency. Thank you.